Hello everyone, BigDos is here and welcome to another video. In this video you're going to be looking at a Ruby Life Pulse plus 11 I did earlier as a Beast Mastery Hunter. So what talents did I use for this run? So let's see, I've got my Mythic Plus setup, but I changed around a bit because Ruby Life Pulse is pretty damn hard, as you might have noticed, and I have a trouble staying alive as a BM Hunter. So the things that I swapped out, I took points out of Rejuvenating Wind, which is actually a bad idea considering it actually heals you. But I took points in Sentinel Owl and I took points in Sentinel Protection, giving us some leech on during certain boss fights or trash where everyone is taking a tremendous amount of damage. I am trying to alleviate a bit of the pressure on the healer by giving the party a little bit of leech, which everyone will be able to heal themselves up just that little bit more. The other thing I took, instead of Nature Endurance, where my survival of the fittest is stronger, I took a Lone Survivor, so I could use my survival of the fittest more often. That way, on every other pack or so where I would be taking damage, I could use this to just stay alive just a little bit longer. And so far, it is helping me out. So those are the changes I did for my Mythic Plus build, and so far I'm liking them. So if this video is something that you like, then consider leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a ton. And if there is a dungeon that you want to see or something that you want to know, then feel free to ask anytime. So sit back, relax, and let's start the video. Now you've seen which talent I'm using, let's talk about some of the other things I'm doing. First of all, I'm using a Spirit Beast as a pet because it will give me more health, and it has a slight heal, although the heal is not that great. It is very nice to have the more HP. Of course, if you need to bring Bloodlust, then bring a Bloodlust pet, but we have a mage, so we don't have to. Now here's the Thundering affix. How does it work? As you can see above my character, I have a Thundercloud and someone else has a Tornado. And what you will do is you will walk towards the person with the opposite icon above their head, or minus and pluses. You just take the opposite one. What I find very useful is just looking above my character. A lot of people using add-ons and stuff. I don't really need that, but you can do that. It is nice. Just look above your character's head. Now, furthermore, the cat meowing, for some people on my previous video asked me what that was. That is me, my kill shot coming off cooldown. That way I know that when there is a target in kill shot range, I can actually use it. And that way it's for me to remind that I use my kill shot more often. Now we're pulling these pack by pack, and that is just simply fine. And as you can see, we are trying to kick as many costs as we can. And some of these mobs will get shields, and you will try to use your tranquilizing arrow to get them off. Now I have a tornado above my head, someone else has a thundercloud, and they walk towards me. If you are learning this FX, it's fine. Just run towards someone else who has the opposite FX, and you as a BM can of course run easily towards other people because you can do DPS and move at the same time. But what you want to do is wait until it almost expires, because it gives you a fairly decent buff. Quick note, there you can see that Primal Terra Sentry, sounds more obvious, had a shield, and there was a 3, which means it will have a pretty decent sized shield. And using my tranquilizing shot, I removed the shield, making it so much easier for us to actually kill that mob. So you as a BM should do that. Also, you should use your interrupts as many times as you can. It's just very, very important. Now, I don't know what I was saying. It's probably not that important, but Thundering, wait until the buff runs out, or almost. Don't wait till it fully runs out, because then you will get stunned and it will get very awkward very quickly. But you can actually wait for quite a bit of time before you do that. Also, there are 5 people, and only on, ooh, that almost went wrong with the disengage. I almost hatched some of those eggs. But anyway, the 5th person will have the buff for the entire duration and won't get stunned. So that is just fine, and it's nice if you are that person, because then you will have the damage buff the longest, but it's not that important. Well, on a coordinated group, you of course want to coordinate that, but yeah. Now I'm walking through that shit. I should not do that. Take unnecessary damage. I could have just used my Sentinel Owl to just quickly look past this wall and just keep on DPSing instead of moving through it. I have to use it more often. I'm not used to it yet. It is very new to me. Now, here we just remove the debuff, because we're not going to go and instantly go into another pool. Otherwise, you want to extend it. There I pull this guy because I do not want to do these 3 infused whelps without anything, because this will go too slowly if we do that. So I'm taking the initiative on that a little bit. It's not that nice. Should not have done that. But yeah, I'm a hunter, and hunters pull. That's what we do. Even though we're not using, or at least I'm not using misdirect anymore. So if you are watching this video and well, there's nothing really happening at the moment, I want to ask you guys, how is Minting Plus going for you guys? And let me know in the comment sections which dungeons are going nice, which dungeons are going absolutely awful. It took me quite a while to actually make this video, because you asked for a Ruby Life Pulse. It took me quite a time. Now I have this massive bleed on me, and I'm instantly gonna use a health potion. I'm gonna turtle. My turtle was not useful there, because the bleed was already on it. What I should have done to do this better next time, either turtle before the charge hits me, because before it hits me, then I probably won't take the bleed. I could have maybe disengaged and not get the bleed at all. Or I should have used Survival of the Fittest. Or the Endurance of the Bear, I think it's called, to either increase my HP or reduce the damage of the bleed. But turtle there was useless, so that is for me for the next time to do that better, because this is also very much a learning curve for me as well. Now there is some AoE raid damage or party damage, and so I decided to use my Sentinel Owl to just give everyone just that little bit more healing, to make this easier. And we have a Resto Druid as a healer, so we're actually quite fine on that. And on this one, these little ads, what you want to do is use your Wailing Arrow on the group. What I did not see, or failed to see, is that someone was actually using CC to prevent them from getting to the boss. I did not see that. And so I used my Wailing Arrow just right off the bat, because when they all walked in, I would have used Wailing Arrow. But yeah. On that one, the big explosion, I used my Survival of the Fittest to reduce the damage. Just to make it easier for the healer and make it easier for myself as well. Now I used Binding Shot so the tank can kite if they want and then instantly stun all these mobs. But I'm seeing that not a lot of tanks, unless I'm running with a pre-made, and I tell them, they're not really running. So if you for some reason are a tank and you're watching my video because you think like, you know what, I'm maybe going to level a hunter someday, please, if your unit's frames show you that the hunter throws a binding trap, you might want to consider using it. So here is another explosion. I should be using some sort of cooldown. I should have been using either Sentinel Owl to help heal up the party a little bit, or I should use Survival of the Bear before the explosion. Now I used them both after the explosion, which was less useful. So we cleared this boss, and now we're gonna go to the part of the dungeon which is absolutely god-awful all the goddamn time. I find it very, very challenging. Let's just say that. I asked the tank to please go to the Lightning Drake first, because it will patrol around at some point. And I find that if you don't pay attention to it, where it lands, You might pull it with another pack, and you will most definitely die because the damage is absolutely tremendously high. And this Storm Breath attack, I find it very easy to dodge when you are in melee range. So stay in melee range. Here I'm taking quite a bit of damage because I got a debuff, and so what I'm doing is I use Survival of the Fittest on that to survive this one. What I could be doing is also throwing my Sentinel Owl out here on the next big AoE damage, just to help the party out again. If you want to see which buttons I press, you can see it on the left side of the screen. So yeah, there, try and remove, with your Tranquilizing Shot, try and remove the strength buff from this mob, because, well, it hurts and you don't really want that. So just do that. And that is simply this mob. It's not that hard if you not pull it with like another pack, for example. And on this one, the Cinder Bolts, they deal a lot of damage. I mean, a lot of damage. If you can, please kick them. Use your stun. Use your, well, I should be using my trap as well. I'm using Sentinel Owl here just to simply heal up. That burst of damage from the Destroyer also hurts quite a lot. And so when it enrages, make sure that you are using your Tranq Shot to remove that enrage. Otherwise, the damage will be so high and it will just hurt your very group a lot. Like here's Inferno coming, everyone takes a lot of damage. If you have a defensive, or maybe use it. If you have a Warlock Cookie, use it. If you have health potions, use them. So there we have that one. And on the next one of these, I make a stupid mistake. You will see shortly. Luckily, we are good. Although we are taking our time, we're good to go on this one. So I'm trying to open up with Wailing Arrow and try to interrupt some of the casts that they are doing. I find that doing these dungeons, especially on the first week where everyone is learning them, a lot of people are not actually using their interrupts enough. And it's frustrating sometimes to see. But yeah, just try and do that. I think that is the moral of this entire story, is use your kit. Anyway, so far this run is actually going very nice. Blaze of Glory, which throws all these like flaming things on the ground, you can actually Tranquilizing Shot that off the mob, and then it will go away. And it will make it just a little bit easier for the party to move around and not have to dodge that much fire. Giving, if you have more enemies still to come or already in a pool, giving your casters just a little bit easier time. Here we throw our Sentinel Owl down, give everyone that little bit of healing or increased healing, and we do this. There the enrage from this guy is removed. It is quite dangerous because you really do want your Tranquilizing Shot for the Destroyer. Here I'm gonna remove this again. As you can see, it stops with firing those things, but, and there's the mistake, I used it, and then the Destroyer also, how do you say that? It got enraged. And this is the mistake I talked about earlier. I forgot that these guys are in the center of the room, and so I dodged the big circle and just walked into him. Luckily, I instantly typed to the tank just to let him know, so he don't go full AFK in his brain, just keeps on walking. He picks it up. It is a waste of time because I die, and I think someone else dies as well because of me pulling and the tank not being there to actually pick it up super quickly. So yeah, that was my mistake, and these casters I think are dealing quite a lot of damage as well. So yeah, that was just dumb of me. But we try and interrupt as many casts as we can to remove the damage, or at least make it a little bit easier. And when he enrages, we also remove the enrage. And that way we can contribute, even if our damage is not the greatest. This is how we can contribute to the dungeon and make ourselves valuable. Because I think if you look at it right now, hunters are not the type of class that is gonna be brought a lot. Like you want an outlaw rogue, for example, or I think it's an affliction warlock. I'm not sure. But you want like those classes, for example, for just massive damage. You want demon hunters. You want, I think, monks as well. Just you want to bring those because they just deal a lot of damage. Yeah, and if you bring a hunter, we can bring like these kinds of utility along as well. So there you can see we had a little bit of time left on the heal, or on the buff, the thundering buff, and I saw that the guy was walking towards me to remove the buff, and so I decided to scoot away just a little. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold. He was trying to come to me, so I scooted away a little just to have the buff a little bit longer. And of course I removed the enraging from Flame Gullet because, well, it deals damage and it hurts. Now this, for example, like this shows how careful this tank is. He's like not doing any crazy things. This was not crazy, but that Scorchling, he took it quite a while before he actually brought it in. There I used my survival of the fittest because I had that AoE thing on me, which hurts, and I throw my Sentinel Owl down just to heal off this pack as well, again making it easier. And in this phase, like when you have Thundering and you can oversee everything and there's not too much overlap, you really want to look for the other person and where you can cancel your Thundering debuff, or buff, actually. It's a little bit of both. So yeah, you're gonna have to pay attention to where you need to go next. And what I find is that later on I will assume, like if we are doing Mythic Plus for like week 3, week 4, that melee is not really gonna go out of melee range anymore. Unless you have like a super mobile class, then maybe they will. But if you do not have a super mobile class, then they will not go out of melee to cancel their buff. And so you as a range player will have to move in because you can actually keep on DPSing, or especially we as hunters, we can do that. There I popped Survival of the Bear to increase my health so I could take that hit easier. And these Cinder Bolts, they should be really kicked, especially when enraged. And if the enrage is not removed, you should really kick them because it is actually a lot of damage. And they can go just on random targets. So here I'm removing this, and I should be removing this enrage as well. There we have it. I did not remove it. Luckily, one of the druids did. They can do it as well. So, yeah. Gonna just simply trap this little guy until the tank has aggro of it. And now we do this last pack. What I try to do, like for example, there I make a mistake that I let my Frenzy drop in trade of using Wailing Arrow, and like that's not that great. But as you can see, I really want that Wailing Arrow to go off because these Cinder Bolts just hit like so hard that you really want to remove that. And of course, just Tranquilizing Shot that so he stops doing the twirly. Easy. Now we go on to the second boss, and this boss you can actually bait the I'm doing this wrong. Let's put that. I should be standing where the, I think it's the mage, where the mage was standing. I should have been standing there and bait this guy more to the side, so we have like a localized, like the fire puddle is half in the bushes on the side, you know? That's really what you want to do. Now here we're taking, of course, a lot of group damage, so I popped my Survival of the Fittest to stay alive just a little bit longer. Now I'm gonna stay in the corner, and there I tried to bait the elemental. The elemental was not coming. So the area where I'm standing now is a good spot for the elemental. Where the mage stood was also very good, because there's an open spot of fire and you can just bait it there. Although it is a little bit harder for our melee to actually stand there. Of course, try and kick every roaring blaze, because we do not want that damage in the party. And luckily, as a group, we are kicking it fairly well. Now I'm trying to bait again the boulder to align itself with the rest. Or where I'm standing right now, if I get an elemental on me, it's also a very good spot. So as you can see, the elemental is on a great spot, because the fire will still be localized when he will explode. And so this is a good thing to do on damage wise. Now I should be moving more to the left to bait the boulder, to again save the space, because next week it's boss week, and when it's boss week, this will probably take a lot longer, and so we will need that space just a lot more. And of course, I think we can move around the entire room, and so we will have plenty of time. But still, if you get it in your head now and do it right at this point, then you'll be good. Little thunderclouds, trank shot, remove the shield, easy. You can do that with all those things, and I think maybe if you're a blood elf, you can remove it. Like, I'm not sure. Again, we're taking this very cautiously. We have still 10 minutes left. And so we're just doing it slow and steady. The Tempest Channeler, you really want to remove the Enrage, because it will hurt a lot. The Tempest Channeler, it will hurt a lot. So again, we have Thundering on us. We pay attention to which one we should tag. Now this is a little bit awkward, because the tank has the other one. Luckily, our druid sprints in and saves the day. Otherwise, the tank would have been stunned while opening on this pool. Probably did not have his cooldowns up yet. Can't use his Death Strike to heal back up. And it could have been really, really dangerous for him. But we're good. And for the patrol, our healer is using his ability to, how do you say that? I should be removing this Enrage, by the way. I was very slow on it, and luckily someone else did it. But yeah, as you could see, the damage there was pretty high. That's why I used Sentinel Owl as well to, again, help the party. So if you're still watching this and listening to all my rambling about how you can use your kit to actually become better at the dungeon, if this is something that you like, leave a like, subscribe to my channel. It just helps me out a ton. Also, if you have feedback for me, let me know. I'm gonna remove that buff there. Just let me know, because I really want to make better content, and I want to do this more often. I really like making these kinds of videos, but I will need your feedback on if it's any good, or if there is something that I should do differently. Maybe, like, for example, speed up this thing, like do it like 1.5 speed, or maybe 2 times speed. Could be doing that. I'm not sure how that would work, but well, we could try that. Just let me know what you guys think. Now this is a flame channeler, so again, just try and, you know, dodge as much as you can, heal up as much as you can, and we're just gonna try and DPS these guys down, and kick every cost that you can. That's just the main important thing here. Like, I don't know what happened there, but the flame channeler like got a lot of health back there. I'm not really sure what happened. I saw him at like 30, I think it was 30% HP, and then suddenly he was at like 60%. There you go. Here it is again. I think I see something on his unit frames would actually heal him. So maybe. Here it comes down to actually using everything to stay alive. Using your survival of the bear, using your survival of the fittest, stuff like that to stay alive. That pool was not clean at all, but anyway, we managed to go through it and survive it, so that's good. At the start of the pool, I always try and take at least one of those little guys and just instantly remove their shield. That way, it just dies a little bit quicker. And you won't have all these little thunderclouds jumping around because everyone thinks, well, they die instantly. And they will if you remove the shield. No. I should be using some sort of a defensive for this, although the healer is healing it up quite nicely. Rested Druid at the moment are very powerful if you ask me. If you look at, like, for example, a monk or a shaman especially. I'm playing with a pre-made shaman and he's doing like absolutely awesome, but it sucks so much to be moving all the time and then having to hard cast. Yeah, it's fucking awful. Anyway, we're making this work. The healer's definitely making it work. He's above the DK on overall healing, and I think a DK is usually even above the healer on overall healing just by fucking using Death Strike. Anyway, that's the class. That's how it works. I asked the tank if we can please do the side because this fight uses a lot of movement, and I've not been to this fight too many times, so you will probably see me make mistakes here and there on this fight because the thing is, I usually wipe before we even get to the second boss because people die to the Drake all the time, me included, especially at the start. Thunder Drake was hell. So this fight, I think there's some of the mechanics I should learn more, but we are doing this and we're gonna finish it in time, so that's good. I'm not sure if it's worth like using your barbed shot on the flying Drake. Could be, because it's another dot running. Maybe, not sure. Like this fire cone is a bit difficult to see how far it goes, so I just try to disengage. And at some point they will start shooting fire, and I think it's a good idea to throw that fire at the edges. And if you throw it at the edges, I think, like this, then if the wind comes from one side, it will get blown off the platform. I think that is the case, and my first idea was to do that, and then my second idea was like, no, I'm gonna just stand in the middle of the fucking room and just be dumb. So yeah, I think this I'm doing this terrible at this point, but yeah. And I know also well my headset died again during this fight. As you can see now, I'm actually activating my headset so I can listen to the sound, and turtled so I can walk through the fire. Actually really screwing up everything. Well, not really, but it making it all a little bit panicky at the last part. I don't think these bosses will enrage when one of the other dies, so it's kind of worth just bursting one down so you remove one mechanic from the fight. And so we did that, and now we are doing this part. And what you can do if you leave spots open between the fire, then when the wind blows you can easily just move through it. But yeah, that is the fight, and that was the Ruby Life Pulse. So I hope you guys liked it. And if this is something that you like, then well, by now, subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, also helps. So thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this one. Nice to be back at it again after Shadowlands. Let's look at the breakdown. I merged my pets, so all the pets are in the same one. So we have Kill Command, Beast Cleave. I'm gonna stop the video so we have this on screen. Like, as you can see, the biggest part of our damage is just simply our pets. With Kill Command, Beast Cleave, Melee, Stomp, well, Claw as well. And Barbed Shot is coming on 5th spot. but it is quite a lot of art damage as well. So that's why we're still trying to use that properly. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.